Welcome back to another episode of Late Entry, hosted as always by RBF Kyle.
What up, doe?
What was that with your hands? You just throw a setup?
Oh, man.
That was my Sharingan. Naruto fans will understand.
Hashtag 1v4 MVP. Wimby. And your boy Double Dose. Coming to you guys Sunday night, talk about some NFL football, some college football, and a little special. These couldn't wait till Wednesday, all due disrespects. So first thing we want to talk about is the Packers versus the Steelers. And before we even get into the game, I got to tell you, the Steelers jerseys were some of the ugliest jerseys I've ever seen before in my entire life. Those boys were horrendous. The tan pants, don't know what that was. I know they're throwbacks, so I know that this is I'm spitting on history. There's a lot of bad history. These jerseys are part of it. What the hell is this? You got a gold or yellow jersey. You got the black lines down the front, but they don't come all the way down the shirt. They just stop at your stomach area. That looks tacky and terrible. They look like what I would imagine the jerseys would look like from that 40U NFL or that football. You know what I mean? Like some old bullshit. Bro, I've seen recreational football leagues with better jerseys than those. Those shits were terrible.
They were wearing t-shirt tuxedos out there, dude. They were literally, I was surprised there wasn't a bow tie at the top. That was so horrendous.
Lexi was talking about, you remember the Ben Stiller's team in dodgeball? They just had the little black shit in the. That's what that looked like, dog. Ugliest things I've ever seen before.
And the fact that they went out there and lost, that's bad. They went out there looking like that and still lost.
Yeah. I would have put those boys on, and I'd have been in the locker room like that scene from Django. Where it's like, yo, who made this shit? Equipment manager's like, don't ask me or mine for nothing. Kyle, I know you had some other jerseys from this weekend you wanted to submit for ugliest jerseys.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't calling them ugly because the Miami jerseys were sweet. But how are you gonna expect Carson Beck to pick you out of the defense, pick you as the wide receiver out of the defense when you blend in with the fucking grass? How are you gonna get found when you're literally doing a grass angel out there 40 yards out? There's no way that was gonna work. But yeah, Miami's jerseys looked really freaking cool on paper. It obviously did not work for them on script. I can't remember the score, but I'm pretty sure they lost by 2 possessions. So a team that looks so dominant all year, they wear some camo jerseys, and Carson Beck looks like he's on an island.
Can't find him anywhere.
He's whoa.
When I was in
they won 42-7.
They did win?
Yeah, Miami won. They lost last week to Louisville. The upset.
The defense couldn't find him. The defense couldn't find him.
All right. Hey, all props to you, Miami. You did win.
Hey, Carson
was 21-28, 189, 1 touchdown.
Carson should be a sniper the way he can pick them out against the grass.
Yeah, so Carson, he did his thing.
That must have just fell right in my nap, and they were losing right in my nap time on Saturday.
The whole Stanford team, they got enlisted to the Army. They didn't do too hot out there. If that's our soldiers in the next war, we're in trouble.
We're in trouble. Oh my god. Yo, when I was in high school, we played this team. They had they were green jerseys, but they all wore brown arm sleeves. And so they would do a bunch of fakes and then put their arms together like this, and they all looked like they had the ball. It was the most effective shit I ever saw in my entire life, bro. They would do just a bunch of fakes, put their arms together just like this, and they'd pretend like they were carrying it. And you're like, where is the ball? You see brown everywhere. Tackling everybody.
Everybody.
Toph's getting on his Bobby Boucher. He's just like,
yeah. But yeah, on to the game. So jerseys aside, quick shout out. I'm not gonna save this for the end, but I want to give a quick little all due disrespect to DK Metcalf, dog. I'm a humongous fan of DK Metcalf, but bro was tripping tonight. You just kept wanting to fight everybody every play. And then at a pivotal moment where it's like, all right, we need to score because the Packers are getting up on us. You're going to smack somebody in the face or try to poke them through the helmet and give up a 15-yard penalty to put y'all at 3rd and 17, I think. Come on, man. What are we doing here? But yeah, other than that, Kraft was unbelievable. It was the Jordan Love and Kraft show tonight. I was hurt, man. I had this this big touchdown special for National Tight Ends Day, and I needed like 285 yards or something between like 3 tight ends, 3 touchdowns. Everybody let me down this week except Tucker Kraft. That man had 143 yards tonight. I needed 145, bro. 2 yards away from a humongous payout. It's pain. It's lots of pain. But
the NFL wins again,
bro. Always. And what hurts me is the fact that I had considered it a loss after the 3:00 games, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Why did Tucker Kraft have to bring it all the way that close just for me to get hurt? Like, I already knew I was losing it, but now you made me relive that again. And the worst part, when he got that second touchdown, I was like, oh, that's it. That was the touchdown in the yards. I went through the whole emotions of thinking I had won just to find out I was 2 yards short. So all the disrespect to me. Kyle, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, I really thought that Aaron Rodgers was gonna get his get back today. He lost last time they faced off, and I mean, I kind of chalked it up with, he was with the Jets, and nobody's gonna win when you're playing with the Jets. Sorry, Justin, but sorry, Aaron. But yeah, I I really thought that this would be the time he was gonna step up and be able to get it done. And it really wasn't his fault, and it wasn't really the defense's fault. Green Bay is just that good to where they can put up 35 on a really good defense. And in garbage time, what did they make it? 25 from 7. Yeah, I mean, Green Bay deserved that win. All in all, they're a better team. So I can't hate too much, but I really thought this would be the week that Aaron Rodgers would do some crazy shit and just step up and get a weird win versus one of the top contenders. But shout out Green Bay. They are who they say they are, and they're going to stay that way. So can't wait for Thanksgiving.
Toph?
Yeah, this is like the frustrating thing to me watching the Packers. Like tonight, their offense is clicking. This is like the prototypical just whoever offense. In terms of like a fantasy owner, you probably hate the Packers because you don't know who you want to put in. So okay, let's do Romeo this one. Maybe Golden will finally break out. No, that ain't gonna happen. Then you got Tucker Kraft in there. The team is immensely talented. Kind of like we were saying, at the beginning of the season and throughout this season, it's just the consistency. It is just not there. Because as soon as you want to crown them, it's like, okay, this team is rolling. Mike is doing good. Defense is locking it down. Offense looking good. Very next week, they lay an egg. And then it kind of makes you think like, are they who we thought they are? But like I said, I think we're at a point in now when the whole NFL, every team's got some talent in there. I think the days that you just rolling over a team, that ain't going to happen anymore. Everyone's going to give you a good fight there. But the Packers are definitely a good team. The Steelers, this is what I was worried about Aaron Rodgers. If your running game isn't there, line protecting you in there, like he's not the old Aaron Rodgers of old. Yes, he can still throw it. But if you got Mike screaming off the edge at you and you don't have the time to kind of drop back, survey the field, that's what you're going to get there. All in all, hey, shout out to the Packers. They did their thing. Steelers, I don't know. It's looking kind of shaky now.
For most of you guys that either you two or people that watch the show know that I am growing up, Aaron Rodgers was my favorite athlete. It was before I had even gotten into basketball, so loved him. Lions were terrible. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers gave me a reason to turn on the TV on Sundays and and get through it, dog. You know what I mean? So I've been a Packers fan for forever. This was an interesting one for me today. I was like, I really want to see Aaron Rodgers, because as much as I love the Packers, and I was like, if they get a win, cool. I'm going to be happy with that, obviously. Packers get another win. But I really wanted to see Rodgers just, I don't want to say one more time because I've got some hopes for them for this season, but I really wanted to see him turn the clock back and see some old vintage Aaron Rodgers. And the game started like it was going to be that. He had that deep throw, like first or second down. I was like, oh, shit, we might be in for one of them ones. And then, Micah was a problem tonight. He got a sack. It took I think he went through 2 or 3 people. He went through Jonnu Smith, a lineman, and I think a second lineman, and sacked Aaron Rodgers. That was crazy. And every time, like you said, Tote, the word you used, screaming off the edge, it's exactly what it was like. And the announcers kept going over this too. They're like, every time it's 3rd and long, they'll put Micah in the stack and then just send him in there, and it gets the job done consistently. If Micah's not getting it, he's running him into other linemen who are getting the sack or the tackle for a loss or whatever it winds up being, over and over and over again. So as a Packers fan, that made me happy, to see, because we've talked before about Micah not making that level of an impact before. We're like, okay, what's this going to be? Tonight he showed why he's Micah Parsons. Aaron Rodgers was sacked 3 times tonight. TJ Watt on the other side, Jordan Love was sacked 0 times tonight. So definitely something to talk about or to look at when you think about the Steelers defense. I was sad. I guess not sad, but it was interesting. Aaron Rodgers had the chance tonight to officially get a win over every team in the league. He is still sitting at 31. Could not get that done against the Packers. Last thing I want to say about this is, I'm sorry, I got 2 more things. Did Matthew Golden DM Jordan Love's wife? What is going on over there? He will not throw the ball to him. For most of that game, Golden was sitting at -1 receiving yards. What is happening with that? Toph, you said it's kind of an everyman or any man offense, which at one point I remember the Packers were saying oh, this is a really good thing. We've got a whole team of number ones. It's hard for the defense to plan against, which is true. But they drafted Golden this offseason to get that true number one in there to get that Devontae Adams feeling back. And Golden has been a humongous disappointment. I don't know if it's his fault, if it's Jordan Love's fault, if it's the offensive play calling, but he is basically a non-factor every single game. I hope they get that together or something, but it's been very disappointing.
I think it's had a lot to do with the routes they've had him on, personally. Every time I see him and he has a potential catch, it's a murder ball or it's something crazy. I do think he has a lot of growth. Obviously, he's a rookie to attain, but I don't know. I really think this comes down to him just not being in the right spots yet. For Golden specifically, I think he is a great receiver, and he's fast. He demands coverage. There's no way that he is this bad. That's that's my layman's opinion.
I had a old man when I was a kid tell me, he was talking about, this is gonna sound crazy, but he was talking about if you had 2 animals, let's say 2 cats that don't get along, right? Put them in a room together and just spray them with the hose every time they start fighting. That is just teach them you cannot fight or you're gonna get hit with the hose. They need to take the offensive coordinator, Jordan Love, and Matthew Golden, put them in a room together and not let them out that room until they can figure this shit out, dog. This is getting ridiculous. We are what, 7 or 8 weeks into the season?
7.
I don't think that he's had a 100-yard game.
No, I don't think it's even come close.
Not close.
Has a single Green Bay wide receiver had a 100-yard game outside of Tucker Kraft tonight?
I think Dobbs has.
Romeo has.
I don't have the stats on that in front of me, but
because Jayden Reed got hurt pretty early. I think it might have been week 2, week 3. We were watching that one. I remember I think they were playing. I think it was a Thursday night game. I think they were playing the Commanders, and he went out. Yep. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's just Romeo because Watson just came back today.
Yeah, all I know is
if it ain't Golden, then it's got to be Romeo.
They've got a bunch of good receivers there.
It would have to be Romeo.
It's just not been clicking, and I know that we were all expecting him to be, I don't want to say in takeover mode as a rookie, but see something more than this. Even like the ups and downs that like Ted McMillan has had, you see the flashes there. You're like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this can work. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not seeing that with Golden. And I'm not saying it's all on Golden, but what I am saying is that as a unit, this shit feels broken. The rest of the Packers, all good. Just that specifically is driving me crazy.
Agreed.
Last thing I want to say is I remember a few weeks ago I was like, why can't the Steelers win the division? Bengals are taking a step back. This was before they got Joe Flacco. Browns obviously in disarray. Ravens got a dub today without Lamar. So it's like the rest of the division, I'm like, I don't know, man. The Bengals, I mean, they'd already beat the Steelers last week, and the Ravens are starting to look more for real than they have before. So it's like, I don't feel like it's working offensively or defensively for the Steelers. They're 4-2, but it feels like a counterfeit 4-2. Like, I don't look at them. I'm just watching them play. The last 2 games have been primetime games. And, I mean, Rodgers was doing his thing kind of against the Bengals, but it's like, if Rodgers isn't putting the cape on, it's not getting done. And Rodgers is in his 40s, so that cape's not coming out every week.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Steelers they're gonna do what Mike Tomlin does, man. They're gonna go 10-7, 9-8, and I mean, yeah, they could even lose the division to the bank. Like, who knows who's gonna win that division at this point? Like, we have no clue. Lamar could come back next week and go on a crazy streak, So, yeah, that is the one division I think that is the most way up in the air. Like, there's no way to predict what's going to go down between the Bengals, the Steelers, the Browns, or the Ravens.
I mean, even if they win the division, let's say that they do win the division, you look at the other teams in the AFC. You're talking about the Chiefs, the Bills, the Colts, the Patriots, and the Broncos. I don't love the Steelers' chances against a single one of those teams, dog. Like, none of them. I'm picking them to lose every single one of those games. And that hurts.
And they still have to play the Bengals again, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, you know what's crazy?
The Bengals division right now, and they're playing Joe Flacco.
I don't know. The Ravens may have something to say about it. They might.
Ravens are 2-6, so we'll see.
Are they really? This is only their second win.
I got it right here.
Yes.
Steelers 4-3, Bengals 3-5, Ravens 2-5, and Browns are 2-6. So it's really only like a 2-game difference. So yeah,
right.
Lily could be anybody's.
That can swing any week. You know who the Steelers could really use right now? You know who they could really use on their offense?
Antonio Brown.
George Pickens.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
That is the most inexplicable decision I've ever seen before. There were like, got DK Metcalf, and everyone's like, oh my God, you're going to have somebody, because we didn't know it was Rodgers at the time, throwing to DK and Pickens. This is going to be crazy. And they were like, hey, why don't we trade Pickens for a 5th or a 6th to the Cowboys? And now Pickens has been a world beater over there, holding it down without CD. One CD was out.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to me, and I understand that
even
maybe
with him back, he's so locked in, and him going to Dallas was the best thing for him.
Oh yeah,
I don't think we would be seeing the same George Pickens in Pittsburgh that we're seeing in Dallas if he had stayed there. It would have been good, but he has, like, him being a Brown CeeDee Lamb, like, brought this like whole different swagger about him, So I see something different in Pickens that I wouldn't have seen if this butterfly effect didn't take place.
I don't know if they thought that Pickens, Metcalf, and Rodgers were too many crazy personalities to have in one room, or maybe they were like, we've seen the writing on the wall before with like Antonio Brown and then Juju, and then who's the other guy that I don't think he's even in the league anymore. They used to have him. He was like a Dolphin for a minute. He was a Panther for a minute. It's another receiver.
Mike Wallace?
No. Recently.
I was going to say Mike Wallace did go to the Dolphins.
There was a receiver, bro. He was on the Steelers. He went to the Panthers. He went to the Dolphins and the Ravens. This is
Deontay Johnson.
Yes.
Oh, Deontay.
Yes. And so it's like they keep getting talented receivers, and then they wind up like having wild ass personalities, and then they got to go. So maybe they were like, let's just get ahead of this with the Pickens one, but that looks really bad right about now.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on this before we move to the next game?
Nope, I will say this was probably 2.5 years ago in fantasy. I did say George Pickens, he was that guy. But, unfortunately, I know he was talented, but the way I was looking, I was like, I don't think he's ever going to, able to show his true potential. But I'm not surprised now one bit what he's doing out here in Dallas because he was a dog at Georgia. He had, the flashes. We just see, shout out Skip Bayless, what does he always say? He doesn't watch tape, but, if you jump off your screen, Pickens will jump off your screen. You could see it. He has it. He just needs, a place, a system that believes in it. Some players, you just got to let them do their thing. Like J-Mo, that dude's crazy. Sometimes you got to let somebody crash out. You got to let them be there. Not too much, though. You can't be, a team obliterator, but some people you just got to let them rock out.
Pickens, that catch he made today for the Cowboys was crazy. Just getting those 2 feet in there, nuts. But, with the Steelers, he had, Mason Rudolph throwing to him?
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Big Ben might have threw a pass or two in there secretly.
He's so happy to have an actual quarterback, man. He's so happy.
I'm sure. All right. Shout out, or not shout out, but we were wishing Skattebo a full and quick recovery. That was a nasty injury today. I saw that video, bro, and I paused it. Oh, my God. Your leg is not supposed to go in that direction. So I hope that he's all right. Now that the serious part is aside, congratulations to the New York Giants. Your season is officially over. And I feel so bad for them. To get the finally have that hope of oh my God, Jackson Dart playing so well. And no Malik Neighbors already sucked, but they still making it happen. And now one of the 2 parts that make that whole team electric, Skattebo. And you're even hearing the players talk about he's a rookie. He's the one on the plane, holding people accountable and, getting the team all hyped up and stuff. And now you lose that. That is humongous. That is absolutely humongous. And I feel so bad for the Giants. Hopefully next year will be a good year for them. You'll get 2 of those players back off of injury. But, breaking your ankle as a rookie running back, that's not super promising for your career. But Skattebo's a dog. I'm sure he'll be back. You look at you guys.
Honestly,
Kyle.
Yeah. In a crazy way, Brian Daboll totally secured his job. He is going to be back next year because of just this small little fire that happened in the middle of this season. He saved, and rightfully so. I'm not. Yeah, exactly. He should have his job still. He should still have this time. He saw something in these 2, and that's a big part of why this happened as quickly as it did, is because of Daboll and him seeing that this was the future. And if I want to save my job, I got to get these guys on the freaking field because they're electric, and it backfired in a way of, one of them got injured right now, but he's going to be here next year, and this could keep him here for the next 5 years in New York, So, shout out Brian Daboll, shout out the New York organization, and shout out Skattebo, baby. The guy he is not going to miss a week that he doesn't have to. If he's back by week 16, even if the Giants are out, I wouldn't be surprised. I would see him being like, Daboll, you're letting me the fuck back out. He is not going to sit any game he doesn't have to, man. But yeah, that dislocated ankle looked terrible. He was on some Red Foreman shit. He got that foot shoved right up his ass. I said that in the pre-show, and I ain't gonna pause it now. But I really do wish him a speedy recovery, as speedy as possible, because God, that looked bad.
Toph?
Yeah, I'm gonna break that down a little bit more in depth than all you guys did. As a one person that was, hyping up the Giants, before the season even started, what did I say? Start Jackson Dart week 1. Because, like I said, just looking on the paper, like look at this roster. I said, if you put Russ out there week 1, it ain't about to go well. I don't think he's gonna win a game. And then the moment you get rid of Russell Wilson and you play the young guy, you just saw, the energy just go right up in there. And I do think that they've all, at least him and Joe Shane, because they're together, save themselves at least one more year.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give that. I don't think, he's getting, an extension, but I think, barring what they've had to go through this year, that's a lot. Neighbors, I don't know, Skattebo, that's a lot to overcome for any team in there. That's basically like, you're a building blocks to future Giants. The only bad thing is this team, they only have like a really small window because they got a lot of players on this team. Thankfully, Dart, he's on the rookie deal. Neighbors still on the rookie deal. Skattebo still on the rookie deal. But in terms of your other pieces, Andrew Thomas, one of the best left tackles in the league. Evan Neal, a complete dumpster fire of a pick. He's absolute trash at the right tackle. He's got to go. So you save money on that, but you still got Brian Burns, who's getting a lot of money. Sexy Dexy, a lot of money. You got Kayvon Thibodeau, who he's got to get a deal as well, too. There's going to be a lot of money you got to spend on that team. So just those 3 people on offense, you don't have too much time to be, wasting here. So this team has a very short window just to capitalize on giving a shot. I'm not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl, but in terms of being, competitive, because, these contracts are getting really expensive. And Dart, he's going to have to get $60 million. Neighbors, he's probably going to be making, I don't know what, the new rate for receivers are, probably between $35, $45 million. It's going to be a lot of money they're going to spend in about 3 to 4 years. So you got to make sure, who you want on your team. That's why it's really big on. They got to start right now because you got to know who your people are. You don't have time to figure out, this doesn't work. Got to get a new piece in there. You got to figure out your people right now. Like your big 3, Neighbors, Dart, Skattebo, that's your offense. Now you got to build around them. So it just sucks, man, because I feel like they should just, when young, just start week 1, just throw them out there. Let's see what we got.
Do you guys think that the Giants are cursed?
I mean, Odell. Well, I can't say they're cursed. They did get 2 Super Bowls. They did beat the GOAT twice. So I can't say they're cursed.
I mean, unless Eli Manning jade his D on his way out the building, I don't think there's any kind of
Unless
hex.
you want to say the Odell Beckham, Victor Cruz, that boat incident, that was the beginning of the curse.
That was the curse.
Maybe that was the point.
It hasn't been
Maybe
good
then
since
I can
then.
say, since that, it's been a little rough. Then you had the Saquon Barkley, the Daniel Jones.
And they both went crazy outside of that organization.
The boat party, that might have been it.
I just think that it's so
sage. What's that little stuff they be walking around?
Yes, burn some
the
sage
whole
in there.
Stadium. Yeah, you can do a couple of runs.
I can't understand. It's hard for me to fathom how bad of the luck that is to lose Neighbors and Skattebo in the same first season. That is crazy. You know what I mean? I'm just I'm still thinking about this hours later. Dog, I can't being a Giants fan. This season is the craziest roller coaster ever. You had
true ups and downs.
Yeah, no, literally. You had that shootout with the Cowboys that you almost won. Then Russ turns around and looks like he can't play at all. You lose Neighbors. Then you start Jackson Dart. Things look good for a second. And then you beat the Eagles. Then today, 2 weeks later from beating the Eagles, you lose Skattebo and lose to the Eagles. That is just, bruh, I feel bad for them. I do.
Yeah, it's not good to be a New York fan right now.
Nope. Speaking of people I feel bad for, Carson Wentz. Watching that Thursday night game, I really did feel genuinely bad for him. I'm sure he thought with JJ being hurt, he was going to be able to come in here and have his Sam Darnold moment. Sam Darnold got to play here last season, rehabilitate his entire career, go from looking like you couldn't play at all with the Jets to now being a starter with a new contract in Seattle. And then Carson Wentz, he's like, you know what? I used to be him, had that MVP run. He didn't win it, but that MVP type of run.
He would have won if he didn't get hurt.
Exactly. Yep. That was a crazy year too, because I remember it was like people. I feel like Tom Brady has shooters, dog. It was like Tom wasn't in the lead. It was like we're looking for someone to give it to. Carson Wentz, okay, he gets hurt. Todd Gurley, he gets hurt, and it was like, well, I guess Tom's gonna win this one. But yeah, man, like so Carson was the guy for a minute. He had some time in Indiana, did not look good, and then I'm sure he was like, you know what, this is my shot. I really need to get it. He's hurt. I mean, so both your quarterbacks are hurt, JJ and Carson, but Carson out there with that big cast or wrap or whatever on, clearly hurt, clearly in pain all the time. But he's like, you know, this is my shot. I can't afford to be hurt. I have to play through this. And you could just see the pain in his eyes, knowing that more than likely his career is done, or at least that his time as a starter is. Because it's like this was a national televised. I'm sorry, not national televised, but it was a primetime game. You know what I mean? And it's like I felt so bad for him. And it's like it wasn't all his fault. His offensive line was not helping him. His receivers were dropping balls, and you playing through pain. And it just, I mean, and then you got the announcer like talking about, you know, it's only week 7 and you're the captain of the boat. You got to hold it all in. It's like, bro, JJ's starting next week, and this is probably the end for me. So I understand what you're talking about, but kind of fuck all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I honestly, none of Carson Wentz's career has been his fault. You know, he got not even benched. He got hurt, and then Nick Foles won a championship, and I'm pretty sure a statue of Nick Foles was built. And then he had to go to work the next year after seeing his backup quarterback statue while he led the ship there.
Is there really
And
a
then
statue there?
9 weeks. This I'm talking Carson
there
Wentz
might
with
be.
Philly.
I think Nick Foles did get one.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he has to go to work and deal with that. And then 9 weeks later, he's being called for his job because Jalen Hurts came in there and he's promising. And I mean, yeah, then he goes to the Colts. Then he bounces around all around the league at that point. He was well, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he was Patrick Mahomes' backup last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yep.
to go all the way around the circle of the NFL from potential MVP of the Super Bowl to backing up the franchise Super Bowl winner of our era is so depressing. And then he finally gets a chance. And yeah, I mean, I feel so bad for Carson Wentz, man. And I mean, he's done a little bit to himself in a couple of ways. Like that stint with Indy wasn't good, like we said, like you said. But I mean, he's played so good for the Vikings this season. It seemed like he was revamping his career, and then yeah, one game can totally shatter that. And now, yeah, like you said, he probably won't start another game for the Vikings. That's for sure.
He might not start another game outside of injury ever.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, like you're sitting there like seeing like a Sam Darnold situation, and you're like, you know, hey, the Raiders need a quarterback. If I play this well this season, I might be a Raider next season. And I was like, I don't know about that one, man. It's tough. Toph?
I'm the opposite. I don't feel bad whatsoever. Not saying that, you know, I wish ill on somebody, but he's made it to the league, man. A lot of people can't say they did that. You know, did his career go as well as he hoped? No, but you went to North Dakota State. Who else went there? Trey Lance. We saw what happened to him. You know, he had a bit of an ego in his early times in Philly. He rubbed players the wrong way. He thought, you know, he was him. And he was doing really good, but, you know, the truth is in the pudding. He was never that great. You could say he got carried by that Eagles team.
Wait a second.
So they might say about Jalen Hurts.
You don't think that at his height in Philly he was? He had Shannon Sharp on national TV calling to him, walk it to him,
walk it to him,
Wentz, because he was putting the ball right there. No, you
and
never.
What does Skip Bayless say? Carson Wentz as in deer in the headlights. That's what I saw about him. I never thought he was, you know, the top of the top. I just thought he was in the right place, right situation. Had an amazing cast around him. He had Alshon Jeffrey. You know, you had a plethora of running backs. But no, I mean, like I said, you know, he had a career. You know, I feel bad that, you know, nobody wants to go out that way. But it's like, man, he played for a long time, man. You know, a lot of people don't even get to do that. Yeah, he had a little well, like I said, the guy's 32. you're not going to pay a 32-year-old, $30 million to, I mean, what's he going to think? Maybe 1-2 more good years?
How old is Sam Darnold?
He's 28.
Oh.
Sam Darnold's literally in, and people kind of say, like, your prime. They say, like, around that, like, 26 to, like, 29. Like, he's literally in his prime in there. I mean, Darnold he was at the bottom. He's at the seeing ghosts. Now, he had a real turnaround. Darnold never had, like, an ego problem. He got drafted to some really bad teams. He went to the Jets. We've seen everybody career goes to die at the Jets in there. But no, I definitely didn't see no Sam Darnold moment. And then come to Jesus for Carson Wentz. But, hey, Wentz, you could go back to your homeland, get out on the farm and let's do some hunting. Let's do some fishing. Do your hobbies there, man. You made to the NFL. You made some money. Hey, man, just enjoy your life now, man. Time to back it up, though.
The crazy thing about the Carson Wentz thing this season is just the fact that the last, I would say, especially this season, we've talked about this multiple times, the resurgence of quarterbacks we thought were donezo. From anywhere from like a Baker to a Mac Jones, Sam Darnold, the list goes on. And it's like we've seen so much of the positive of that. This is like that stark reminder that like the NFL, bro, everybody does not get a happy ending. And so, unfortunately, it looks like
one team does.
He still might be able to get like a backup job or something like that. But I think that from me looking at him, the way that he was looking in that game, it feels like he knew what I thought. And that's like, this might be the end of the line. On the other side of the ball, shout out to Toph. Can you pronounce this guy's name? The tight end.
Oronde, hold on. I know
Oronde
it's
Gadsden? Is it Gadsden?
I think it's Gadsden. Is it Gadsden? Okay. Yeah,
Big O. Big O. Shout out to you, my friend. Hey, that man he's doing the Lord's work. Unfortunately, at the cost of Quentin Johnston. Who had a crazy start to the season and has been basically a non-factor the last 2 weeks.
Shout out QJ.
Hey, but Big O, he's putting in work, dog. And guess who's got him locked up in both dynasty leagues?
How you asked me, and I said, I don't know who that man is. So, hey, you found him. That's all you right there.
I had him in the one dynasty league. I picked him up in September, dog. Early September.
Hey, I'll give you Romeo Dobbs for
Wasn't it really September?
Yeah, early September, dog.
Hey, you're a Packers fan?
I know, but we just talked about that Romeo situation. With trading for a Packers player that's not Josh Jacobs or Tucker Kraft is career suicide.
Yeah, you got it, bro. It's all good.
Oh, he's a rookie?
Yeah, he's a rookie.
Yeah, he is.
You know why he's playing so well?
Why?
You know what number he wears?
87?
86. You know also wear 86 in San Diego?
Gates?
One of the GOATs. There you go. He look like a young Gates out there.
Gates.
That might be a light-skinned Antonio Gates out there running around.
Hey, that man is
Gates was
Kyle, you're muted. You're muted, Kyle.
Yeah, you're muted.
Oh, he's just
I'm just playing.
Hey, that is a beautiful light-skinned man, too. Light-skinned, blue eyes. Go ahead and do it for us, Saranda.
I think we need a full stop. I think we don't need a pause. We need a full stop. On
hey, you know what's crazy, too, is the fact that, and we're about to talk about the Dolphins and the Falcons in a second, the Dolphins screwed up so many times, dog. The Dolphins there's a third player, I can't think of who it was, but they had Aronde's dad, they had Pat Surtain Sr., and there's one other player, I can't think of who it is, and they didn't draft any of them, and they need all of them. The Dolphins really sat here and saw Aronde and said, you know what sounds better than Aronde, whose dad we had playing for us? Let's go get Darren Waller out of retirement.
Hey, don't worry, y'all. He's going to get 1,000 yards. Remember that?
I was just about to say, Kyle, I think you owe him some money. I think you owe him some money.
Right now.
Darren Waller?
You said he's going to have 1,000 yards this season.
You did.
Oh.
And didn't even know Tyreek Hill.
Look at Kyle's face.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to the episode, but I'm lost.
It's fine. It's fine.
What I was just looking up was that Antonio Gates is actually number 85, but that was.
Oh, you were right. He was 85. Yeah. Hey, all due respect to Toph.
Oh, Polish
But-
Jack.
85, 86.
So-
yeah.
So now we're square, right?
Hey, he's the upgrade Gates. Dang,
y'all
that's on me.
are just fact checking each other this episode. Hey, speaking of
Check the tape. Check the tape.
speaking of the 6-7 thing, you see Rashawn Gary got a sack and popped up and did that? I was like, brother,
No, I
you
didn't
were
see
too
that.
damn old to be hitting the 6-7.
I
I
know.
don't know. How old is Gary?
It's too old.
He might-
33.
We're all too old.
32.
Ain't no way he's 32.
If you are a junior in high school or older, you're too older for that shit. That shit stops at
27?
sophomore
No,
year.
he good. He's 27.
He's only 27.
I'm 32 and I'm doing it, so. I know
You
he
too
good.
you too damn old for it.
No.
You too damn old for it.
Nah.
I'm about
That's
to be
that
turning.
shit.
I'm about
gotta
to
stay
that
young
shit.
out here.
I'm about to turn into the commissioner, dog. If I catch y'all doing this shit, I'm fining y'all.
If he sees one hand come up with the other hand in unison, you're
getting
out.
fined. Your ass getting fined. The late entry pot is going to grow. What you got? Oh my god.
That's a high school jersey, isn't it?
That's the Charlotte one. We
Oh,
gonna
that's
put
the
this
Charlotte.
right here.
Okay, that is.
6
Oh
to
my
right.
goodness. All right. Let's talk about the Dolphins and Falcons.
said, "Oh,
Let me read y'all something real fast. The Falcons have got to be the most what the fuck are you team I have ever seen before. They got shut out 30-0 by the Panthers. They beat the Bills 24-14. They lost to the heavily undermanned Niners. I don't have that score in front of me. And then they lost today to the Dolphins 34-3. Before we continue to talk about the Falcons, I want to talk about Tua Tagovailoa real quick. We talked before, I think last Wednesday, about how I've never seen somebody say the wrong thing every single time they're in front of the podium. They asked him about why Jalen Waddle only got, I think it was one target last week. This man literally said, I'm too short to see past the line. I couldn't find him. That's what Tua said. Every time Tua talks,
At least he's honest. I guess.
all he's trying to do, all Tua is trying to do every time he talks this season is convince y'all why he should not be playing quarterback for the Dolphins next year. And this man just beat the Falcons 34-3. 34-3. No Darren Waller, no Tyreek Hill. You had Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington, Achane, and a dream. Meanwhile, people thought we were going to see Kirko Chains make the return. Granted, he had no Drake London today. Bijan Robinson was playing one of the worst run defenses in the league. I don't think he had 50 yards today.
And his pass protection was terrible as well.
Bijan had 25.
25 all-purpose or 25 rush?
He had 25 rushing, 23 receiving. So no.
No, not even
Didn't
50
reach
yards
50.
all-purpose.
Didn't. He was just a little short.
Against the Dolphins defense.
And his pass pro was bad today. I mean,
Bijan's was?
it almost felt like he was like wanting them to get to Kirk. He was like, put my boy Penix back in.
Toph, you are the resident Falcons fan, bro. Say something for your team.
As a Falcons fan, this is no surprise to us. Granted, I don't even like Michael Penix Jr. either, but when you got Kirk Cousins, who definitely should not be playing football no more, that's outcome. Not surprised whatsoever. As far as Bijan, which with a lot of experts, always think that he could be the best. This is not my words. It's what a lot of people are saying before, we get up in arms about, jerseys I see in the back. The best offensive football player in all of football. Not the best running back. Not, whatever. A lot of people say that, which I could see it. But even I don't know if I'm quite jumping on that bandwagon quite yet. I think that's what I really got to think about. Like I said, for me, as a Falcons fan, I've always said, if my team can't get to the playoffs and a legitimate chance to compete for the Super Bowl, I don't want my team nowhere near the playoffs. Um, like I said, I think we have some pieces that I really like, but I'm not sold on the quarterback, running back. That's a check. Drake London, that's a check. I even like Kyle Pitts. He might be the ultimate if man because you don't know what you're gonna get out of him.
Mm-hmm.
But the talent is still there. But the quarterback play, um, ever since number 7, I know Matt Ryan, he did a lot there in Atlanta. But that guy number 7, he was different in Atlanta. He had the house rocking. It was like the club out in there. Every Sunday, you had to go there, whether if it was on TV, it was at the stadium. Me, I think you need somebody with some energy, some swag to be in Atlanta. This is a lot different of a city than other place in there. Like Jackson Dart in New York, people gravitate towards him. Michael Penix, he's just another dude. I have no emotional attachment to Penix whatsoever. I heard he's a good person, but I don't want him as my quarterback, man. I need some with some juice there. So for me, you could hold on. I ain't done yet. I ain't done yet.
Go ahead.
Get rid of everybody, man. Now as far as quarterbacks, there ain't really too many that's jumping out, that's screaming to me. But there's a guy down there stuck in Cleveland. We could go get him for a 5th-round pick, a bag of Cheetos, and Arnold Palmer. We'll give you next day air. Amazon delivery for that one. Make that deal. Go get that coach down there in Colorado. He started his career as a Falcon. Just come on back home. You said a list of teams that you wanted your, son to go to. Atlanta, Arthur Blank, that's my guy, hell of an owner. He said, if I want my son to go somewhere, one of those teams that's on that list right there. Shiloh, and he's out here trying to stream, model, do all kind of stuff. Hey, man, you could come on the team as well, too. You might not see the field, but you're part of the team. Whether it be practice squad, 5th man, water boy, whatever you want to call him to the team. Now, Travis Hunter, get rid of all the picks, man. For the Rams, get rid of all the picks, man. They got to go. You could have Michael Penix. You could have Kirk Cousins. Have them all. Take it.
Well, shit, at that point,
that's
fire Raheem Morris.
Right
Fire Raheem Morris and hire Dion
Raheem
at that point.
Raheem could go. I don't even like Raheem. He's a clown.
Yo, that was literally going to be what I cut you off for. I was going to say, Shedeur Sanders fits that mold of what you're talking about. He is that kind of X factor. He pulls everything into the city. He pulls everyone around him. I mean, that would be the guy, that you're asking for. Somebody that's going to mimic what number 7 did.
Now, you don't even got to give up much to get him. But do the Browns want to get rid of him? That's the thing.
They don't. They want to hang on to that. They probably wouldn't. No.
They might ask for 2 first-round picks for him, even though he went in the 5th.
And they paid a 5th for him.
They pull a double dose kind of trade.
Yeah, they would.
It's not about
this ain't lining up to me.
Hey, look, it's not about what I got him for. It's about what is he worth to you. That's how you win. Right. That's how you win. Someone's value is only what someone is willing to pay.
Yeah.
Thank you for Breece Hall,
unfortunately.
By the way.
Hey, kiss my ass. All right. That actually is I got lost in my notes for a second. Toph, you got some stuff you want to talk about in college today?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead. Take it off.
Let me get my notes up here. Let me
take off, not take it off. Please don't take it off on.
I ain't taking nothing off here. Okay. Me and Kyle, we've had talked about this beginning of the season. And our pilot episode was just us two, the 2-man, about people on the hot seat. One of those guys just got taken off. Mr. Brian Kelly. I think he had a short stint, maybe 3 years at LSU. Mm-hmm. And he did have Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors on that team when he was there. But LSU. Now, we're just talking about the Falcons making energy plays. LSU might be one of the most, talented, swaggiest programs outside of Oregon, their uniforms that you could get. There's a lot of talent that comes out of, just that state, that city. And if you're gonna get rid of Brian Kelly, who doesn't, resonate with the players, I've never been a believer in Brian Kelly. At any point, whether he was at Central Michigan, this time at Notre Dame, he just didn't have the winning intangibles, man. Not a guy would want to kind of, help mold, the young, men that could do my program. Just doesn't, vibe with me. Now Deion Sanders, we just talked about his sons. What he's done for Colorado. Granted, I know the team's record has not really showed in there. And you got a lot of people probably, saying right now that without Travis Hunter and his sons, this is what he is. But you can't deny just the culture change and what he's brought to the city of Boulder, Colorado. I think he might have been the only player, I'm sorry, not player, only, coach or just personality, maybe in the world that could have pulled off what he did for Boulder, Colorado. Nobody in their right mind, if they were getting, scholarship offers, who's up saying, yep, Colorado, I'm going over there over Alabama, Florida State, Florida, Texas, you name it. You're not picking them. Hell, you might have went to Colorado State over Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
But all the jobs that are open, LSU, Penn State, Florida State might be the next one, Oklahoma State. You have a lot of top 5 programs. And one of the biggest gripes is just, why would you pick Colorado over Alabama, over Texas? One of those big name programs. Colorado, it gets called what black people want to go to Colorado? I don't know too many. Yeah, it depends on what kind of brother you are. But I don't think LSU would go for it. But if there's a chance and you bring Dion to LSU, the amount of talent that he could get, I think, he could really shake it up, man. Whether if it's Penn State, Florida State, his alma mater. But yeah, Deion Sanders and LSU, man, they already got, BET awards out there, in the locker room. You go to LSU, they start playing the swag surf, and I might suit up out there. My 37 years out there. I'm going up there and play some football, man. But yeah, Deion at LSU, whoo, that would be electric, man. That would be fun to see every Saturday.
I have 2 things to add to this. One, I was at Six Flags last night while this game was going on. I'm walking from one of the rides to the bathroom. As I'm passing the bathroom, I pass one of their little bars that they got over there for the parents to sit down at, have some drinks while the kids going crazy on the rides. As I'm walking by, I see the TV. I happen to glance over and look at it. I saw at halftime 40-0 and said, I know I didn't see that right. Must be dizzy from the rides. Let me look at this when I'm coming back from the bathroom. And as I walked past it again, I still saw 40-0, dog. That shit hurt my heart. And then to see today, this morning, the final score 53-7. Oh my goodness. But I agree. That could wind up being really electric at LSU with some more talent, some more NIL money, some more people wanting to go there.
A lot more NIL money than what Colorado has.
But so my question to you, Toph, is then, because you kind of, this is a good idea, and I know that you didn't know this when we talked about this yesterday. Yesterday, you were, saying that you think that Deion should retire. You just think that LSU would be a better spot?
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as retiring, I don't think Colorado would fire him. But this man has literally put his life on the line for their program. No joke. This guy's had some serious, injuries, surgeries that he didn't even tell, his family, his mom, his kids. I literally watched an interview we had with Michael Irvin, and nobody knew this surgery that he was getting was as bad. And literally the night before, he called his lawyers and wrote up a will just in case if something were to go bad. Like I said, somebody like that is literally putting his job, the program, over himself, just as a person, like I said, he's not out there, on the field making the tackles. The team gave up 422 rush yards. Like, I mean, we're talking about a Hall of Famer, one of the best players to ever play the game of football.
Can you say that stat again? How many rush yards?
They had over 422 rush yards as a team for Utah. 2 players went over 150 yards. And historically, this team has been god-awful running the football. We saw it week 1 against Georgia Tech with Haynes King's quarterback just gashing them. It's always these long, and it's always by the quarterbacks. Granted, this is running back this time, but quarterbacks always just gash them up. Doesn't matter if it's a brother, a white guy that's got some athletics. It's just, the same thing over and over with this team. Skills players, they're good. It's the interior that's always lacking with this team. And LSU, they got some big hogs down there in Louisiana. Eating gumbo, cornbread. You're gonna get some.
Yeah. They're right in your backyard down there. Yes, sir.
And granted, you're in Louisiana. It's always hot. It ain't gonna be snowing down there. So you gotta tell me, all the young jits, they gonna want to go to LSU. They already want to go there, grittying, dancing, left and right. I just think, in terms of like personality, culture, that I think that is the place. If I had to pick, just seeing him walk out Death Valley, night game, swag well done, sir, all that. Like, whew, man, like I said, I'm going out there. I might go on out there. I'm gonna get tackled mid-game. You're gonna see me getting, hands behind the back. Please escort me out there. Like I said, this guy, he's done everything, for this program. I don't think he owes him anything. He's given everything he's got and some.
Mm-hmm.
He already had the stars coming out to Colorado to see football. Imagine if he was with LSU.
Yeah,
that'd be nuts.
Little Wayne already comes to Colorado. He's coming. Where he's from.
Oh, absolutely.
And then the Falcons trade for Shador, and his son's right down the road. Hey, we worked up a recipe right here.
Now you call Jacksonville, said, "All right, what you want?"
That's
open up the briefcase.
That's not happening. Did you see that they're supposedly taking offers for Brian Thomas Jr.? That is the stupidest thing that I've ever heard.
Who, the Falcons?
No,
Jacksonville. I don't think it's the stupidest thing. Like, this is kind of what we're saying about fantasy football trades. The only people that are untouchable are your franchise quarterbacks. That is the only person in football you could say, there's nothing you could give me to make it worthwhile. Because the receiver, you're seeing a lot of teams have receivers. You got A.J. Brown locked up out there in Philadelphia. There's a lot of guys out there that, you could bring them, from this team. You can still get that production. And draft picks, those things don't just grow on trees. In terms of football, first round picks, you can't miss. Basketball, you got more option in there. But draft picks, those are super duper, viable. So like I said, I don't think Brian Thomas Jr. is definitely not untouchable. Because you could end up getting a first, a second, maybe 2 seconds, and you're looking real good. Because Jacksonville, they need a couple of pieces.
They're not.
Brian Thomas Jr. is not, bring them over the top there. So I would definitely field those calls if I'm there. If they're that serious, yes. Okay. I'm picking up that.
Let me counter that with this real quick. First of all, I don't think that you're getting a first for Brian Thomas Jr. Second, so George Pickens, that trade. Let me correct myself from earlier. Actually, when I said it was like a 5th or a 6th, I was wrong. I think I was thinking of the Amari Cooper trade away from the Cowboys. But anyways, Cowboys gave up a 2026 third-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick. The Steelers gave up George Pickens and a 2027 sixth-round pick. That was what that happened. That was that was the Pickens trade. I think that a Brian Thomas Jr. trade would be probably around that ballpark. You think that that's taking them over the top? Furthermore, their other best receiver doesn't even want to play receiver full time.
Oh no, he'd play it full time. This is not up to him though.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. That's my thought process. You've got 2 number ones, and one of them likes to play on the other side of the ball. I would not shoot myself in the foot by getting rid of Brian Thomas Jr. at that guaranteed receiver position, and then only be able to play old boy Travis Hunter one way. That's it.
I'm picking up that phone as quickly as possible.
Okay.
I mean, it ain't taking up no minutes. You can hear the call. You can hang up if you don't like it. But you got to hear the call.
Yeah,
Travis Hunter,
be honest.
he's a small frame. If he goes down, now you really got Brian Thomas. Now you're really struggling.
$1,000 or 1,000-yard receiver in his second season. Kyle, what do you think?
We've seen quarterbacks go.
I agree with
year
Toth
one
to
and
an
get
extent
traded.
here. Like anybody's up for trade outside of like,
Mahomes,
you're
those kind of
the
guys.
top 5 of any position and quarterbacks, right? Like quarterbacks for the most part, your franchise guy is not tradable. Mid-season, even if he's not your franchise guy, like Justin Fields isn't going to get traded anywhere, by the deadline. Like the Jets aren't going to do that. But yeah, top 5 running backs, top 5 receivers, top 5 tight ends. They're pretty locked in, especially the younger you are, the better. Like Laporta, his trade value is like from the Lions' perspective is low because they see so much upside in him. 2 years from now, during his 5th-year option, like maybe they see something different and they want to move him. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, nobody's safe. Like I want all these guys on my team, but they're not going to necessarily be here. So yeah, to Toph's point, like a trade proposal for anybody is not out of the question.
The last thing I want to say about this, for me, on my perspective, is Brenton Strange is already on IR. Trevor Lawrence has not lived up to expectations in the NFL. The point was to get him more help, not take it away.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Oh, I agree. I mean, but maybe they think they can get a good trade out of him. But I do hear what you're saying too about like George Pickens, wide receiver 1 from Pittsburgh, got slim pickings, no pun intended. But I really think that you'd get the same deal.
All right, really quick.
Yeah.
Or a similar deal.
Go ahead. You finished?
Go ahead.
You remember what A.J. Brown went for when he went to the Eagles?
A.J. Brown was not in the same category as them.
No. You remember what they gave up?
I don't.
2 firsts?
1 first and a third.
The Titans,
the A.J. Brown that was. Hold on. Let me cook real quick before you start doing your monologue there.
Yep.
A.J. Brown, the Titans, is not the A.J. Brown that we see today. A.J. Brown was a 2nd-round pick, but he still had talent. He was young. Wide receivers, quarterbacks, and defensive ends. They all have a very high trade value. You're not giving up a 3rd-round pick, especially for a 1st-round wide receiver. It was literally 1 year, away. Not A.J. Brown. Brian Thomas balled out last year. Mm-hmm. If he gets traded, it is no less than a second. It'll probably be 2 seconds if you don't get 1st-round pick. But if he goes, it's easy a 1st-round pick. That's the first one. But you're probably going to get a 3rd or a 4th. But he's not getting traded for nothing less than at least 2 2s and maybe like a 5th. But if Brian Thomas gets traded, it's a 1st-round pick no matter what. And then something else as well, too. It doesn't matter if, you get rid of him, you got Travis Hunter and a bunch of other, no names in there. Because 1 Brian Thomas Jr., 1 Travis Hunter, Liam Cohen doesn't know if he wants to play defense, all defense, the first half, the second half, wide receiver. This guy can't get no rhythm if he's in and out. This is a guy, even, at the prime of people that, Amon St. Brown, Jim Martinez, they only play wide receiver. That is their craft. And if you ask Travis Hunter to really play as a rookie, his frame, his size, offense and defense, full-time, or if it's half and half in there, that's a tall test for anybody in there. We're talking about the NFL, the best of the best. Like I said, we got wide receivers coming out every single year. Some of them, the best person might not go in the 1st round. What was St. Brown? 5th-round pick, 4th-round pick?
4th round. Yep.
Look at him now. You can tell me if you were to get
Absolutely.
a first round pick, you could use wide receiver, you could get O line. You might even get a top 10 pick. We saw what happens, at slides when the Bears traded for DJ Moore. Look at the haul they got. Like I said, wide receivers go.
If
It
the
is a tall
Lions would
asking
have
price for a wide
traded
receiver.
if the Lions would have traded for St. Brown, they
I think
would
Odell was
be
2 first round picks.
they would be killing
He was
themselves
a
right now.
massive trade. Of course,
I
Odell
think
was a superstar at that time.
I
But no,
think
Brian
the
Thomas Jr. is going for a lot.
I think the market's just changed
It is.
from the AJ Brown trade. Like I don't know that we're necessarily going to see a first rounder for BTJ just because he had a good season and a half. Like I don't know that we're gonna see that. Like AJ Brown, I feel like is why people aren't gonna trade for that anymore, because they're like, well, yeah, you get a good season out of that guy, but I'd rather develop my wide receivers and pull it up through college. I think more and more people are doing that versus trading high to go and get their receiver, at least right now. Like that could change in 2 years because the NFL is forever changing. But for right now, I just feel like the market is like you're not buying a receiver for a first round pick.
We've got to keep pushing just for time wise. 2 things. If you're in the comments, let us know what you think. You think that the Jags should keep him, or you think that they should trade him away? The last thing I want to say, and then we're going to move on. Just give me the names of 2 teams, Toph, that you think that you'd want to see him on that would be willing to give up a first round or 2 seconds for him.
Brian Thomas?
Yes.
If you're taking on Brian Thomas, you're probably, thinking that I'm just a couple pieces away from maybe winning it all. Just off the top of my head, Indy, maybe Buffalo.
Buffalo was the one that I thought of. Okay. Last game recap. We have the Cowboys belt to ass by the Denver Broncos. Toph, what you think about that game?
I was really just sitting there thinking to myself a couple of days ago, man, ever since the Packers and Cowboys have been rolling, and I was like, you know what? Especially with the forecasts of that division, I'm like, they'll probably end up winning that division, making the playoffs. Defense looking a lot better. Running game, Javonte, Williams is literally a man possessed. Literally revised his career. Dak, talk about an MVP case, and the Cowboys were Cowboys. 2 picks, everything came back down to earth. It's when you want to crown the Cowboys, they pull a stinker. But we've been talking about this at least in our group chat for maybe about 2 weeks now. It's like, man, Bo Nix, that boy is something.
Mm-hmm.
Because lately, the past couple other than today, it's been like, all right, 3rd, 4th quarter, I learned how to play football again. But Bo Nix, he'll make a couple of plays every week that just jumps off my screen. Him and Dart are very, very similar. Both athletic. I think they're about, same like skill wise. But those guys make some plays. I'm like, these guys got it. Bo Nix, he's cooking, man. People got to put some respect on his name. To be, coached by Sean Payton, who's a fiery guy. If you've seen them have little kind of, spats on the sideline, I think they're both, have the same kind of ego. What's that? Bo Nix, man. That dude is electric. And I think the Broncos, I know I was saying the Chargers, but I would not be surprised if the Broncos, I don't think, have they played the Chiefs yet?
I don't
think they
remember.
have.
I'll check.
That's the 2 teams I want to see. One of those 2 teams, I think the Broncos have a legitimate chance to make it out the AFC. I'm giving them a shot.
I agree completely. Yeah, I think they are the team to beat in that division. Yeah, with all the injuries the Chargers have had.
Okay, that's what I thought.
They did not play the Chiefs, not yet.
With all the injuries that the Chargers have had, I would say that the Chiefs are the only team that could stand in their way. You
You
know,
mean
I mean,
all of
obviously
AFC?
it's not. Well, I'm just saying for their division.
Okay.
Like
I
the
mean,
Chiefs could find
yeah.
a way to get enough wins to beat them, but I really think this is their division to lose at this point. With how the Chiefs started their season and how Denver has started their season, I think, you go and win both those games against the Chiefs and continue to do what you're doing. There's no reason you don't win this.
And it's only a 2-game lead.
I completely disagree with you guys. The Chargers have gotten a lot of their injured guys back. Khalil Mack is back. Joe Alt is back. We literally talked about how they have too many mouths to feed earlier. Quentin Johnston's getting no work because Arande's been going crazy. The Broncos, we talked about this, I think it was last week, about the fact that coming off of last season that the Broncos, I was ready to crown Bo Nix as the next one. And then I feel like this season hasn't looked as great. I know that their record is good, but I don't think that they have the offensive weapons that it takes to, you know what I mean? I know that they put up 33 in the fourth quarter against the Giants, but today, like they played like the Cowboys. The Cowboys defense is garbage. Their rush defense is terrible, and a lot of their touchdowns came to running backs or to Troy Franklin, not even like Cortland Sutton, you know what I mean, or Marvin Mims. I don't know. I think that they're a good young team that's building, but I don't think that they're ready to knock off like the Chiefs as of right now. I think that they ran into the Chiefs defense currently. I don't think it's going to look good. Cortland Sutton, I don't think is the receiver that's going to be able to take them that far. Personally, I think they need another receiver still. Talk about a team that needs to get Brian Thomas Jr. But that's kind of where I'm at with it. The whole thing with the Chargers is just if Man is going to show up or if he's going to melt down. But I would put both of them ahead of the Broncos right now.
So, I mean, yeah, I hear you with the Broncos, but I really think they do what it takes to get the win, no matter what. I mean, the only games they've lost have been on some bullshit field goals at the end of the game. So I'm betting on the Broncos, man. I really am. Sean Payton and my boys, they're gonna get it done.
With the Cowboys,
Can I,
go ahead.
no, go ahead. Finish your statement.
I was just gonna say with the Cowboys, kind of feel about them. I forgot which announcer it was said this during the game, but basically, their offense is good enough to win games. Their defense is good enough to lose them games. They're gonna win about 50% of their games, get to the playoffs, and then it just comes down to each individual game of how far that can last. But their offense absolutely electric. Their defense is just abysmal. What were you gonna say, Toph?
In Sean Payton's tenure, can you name me? Just name me two like number one receivers that he's had throughout his whole career on all the teams that he's coached.
I mean, I don't know how far he goes back before Drew Brees, but I mean, Drew Brees is a Hall of Fame quarterback. He was regarded as maybe the most accurate thrower ever. Not the best or the most talented, but maybe the most accurate.
Do you know who he threw to on that Super Bowl team on the Saints?
Marcus
I do
Colston.
not.
Who else? Is that the only person you know?
Ted Ginn.
Mm-mm. Not
He
there
wasn't there yet.
Nope. I could
I
name
mean,
four.
no. So I don't know the
Anyway,
guys, but what I'll
besides the
say,
point.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
I really
They have enough people there to be competitive. Troy Franklin, Marcus Colston, Pat Bryant, R.J. Harvey, J.K. Dobbins, Sean Payton, and Bo Nix. That's their core offensively. Now the
It don't
defense,
matter.
they have the best pass rush in the league. They are cooking. They don't have to put up, 35, 37 points to win. They don't want to do that. They're going to control the clock, rush the passer, play a clean game. They're going to win. That is Sean Payton. He's a mastermind. He's done this for a very, very long time. And even last year, the two games they played against the Chiefs, there was some fugazi. The Broncos should have won both of those games. And that was Bo Nix's, I want to say coming out party. Like I said, the Bo Nix I've seen this year is a lot different than the Bo Nix I've seen of last year. Then as far as the playoffs, I think Broncos, Chargers, and Chiefs, barring any kind of crazy injuries, all three will make the playoffs. Because you get one in the South,
Yes.
one in the North, 2 in the East. So 7 teams make it. Probably all 3 of those teams will make the playoffs. I think all 3 are really good. But I think, as of right now, unfortunately, the Broncos are all in the division. Chargers 3-0. But like I said, the Chargers lose somebody every single week. Joe Alt is halfway back. He's not fully healthy. And Derwin James left in the boot last game as well, too. Every week, someone goes down for the Chargers. So I don't think that's sustainable. There's 3 shows from the Chargers' history, from this year, last year. Someone else is going to go down. And I don't think they have enough in the tank to compete with those teams. Unfortunately, I'm a Chargers guy. I pay a lot of attention to the Chargers team in games probably more than most teams. So if anyone knows the Chargers, it is me. And I think they're going to run out of gas, unfortunately. They have too many injuries too soon. Because we just seen them get dominated by the Colts from start to finish, and it wasn't even close.
I mean, the Broncos also lost to the Colts. That's one of their 2 losses this season.
Colts are a very good team. 7-1 is not a joke.
I hear everything that you're saying about the Chargers and Sean Payton. I guess the only counter to that would be we are talking about Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh on the other side. It's not like it's just a random coach too. But
I've been saying Harbaugh's name from the beginning, so don't say that to me. Just wait. I know.
We're gonna see.
I've been waving their flag all year.
I'm honestly. It would be the Chiefs to me as my pick out of the 2 of them too. I'm not trying to sit here and say that I've got all this faith in Justin Herbert because I've been the biggest person saying that when it comes playoff time. What's happens. So we're gonna wind up seeing. All right. Last thing to wrap this up. We got some all due disrespects that could not wait till Wednesday. Kyle, you want to go first?
Yeah, so let's talk about these Cowboys, baby. So they got their asses beat as we talked about. 44-24. But actually, I don't even know that we even got into the final score, but the Cowboys got their asses beat this week by Bo Nix, Sean Payton, and the boys. And going into today's game, Javonte Williams said, and I'm gonna hit you guys with a pre-pause on this. So don't call me on anything I say because I am quoting a motherfucker. All right. Those boys are doing their thing. All respect to them. Hey, he shouted us out basically by saying that. All respect to them, but they made a mistake by letting me go. Everything's cool here. They'll feel my weight on Sunday. They'll feel my girth. I'm ready to pound them, honestly. Though that was a quote from Javonte Williams, running back of Dallas Cowboys. And I felt like I was reading you guys a smut film. That was bad. So the guy ended up doing 13 rushes for 41 yards, 1 catch for another 8, no touchdowns, and I'm sorry, he did have 2 tugs. He did. He had 2 of them. But Dallas lost 44-24, got their asses beat, and I don't think he has anything to say to the media that's going to be anything righteous on Monday. Unless it's some more stuff for his book that he's clearly writing.
I don't know, man. I don't think that you can put this loss on Javonte Williams. I feel like he played pretty well. The team played like
that's
terribly.
My all due disrespect is just to all the shit talking and the plausible offenses that he made to only put up 45 yards.
But that's what I'm saying is I don't think that was his fault. The game script took him more out of the game. In the earlier game, he was cooking. He did have 2 touchdowns. Like that's my thought. But
did they feel his girth?
I think they did.
I don't know that they did.
I feel like he put the whole load on him.
They won by 20.
Right, that's not his fault. I think it was stupid. Brian Schottenheimer, why is it that you're going for 4th down on 1 drive, but then you're still behind and you're not going for it on 4th and 5? I think there's a lot of people to blame
That's
for this
scared
loss
coaching.
today. 2 interceptions by Dak, and I don't think that Javonte didn't play well enough. I don't think that he didn't answer the call. For me,
what he said, I give him my all due disrespect. I didn't like it. If you're gonna say that, you better have 4 tugs and you better win the game.
I feel you. Toph, did you have anything on this or no?
Nope.
Okay. I got a few. First of all, fuck the San Francisco 49ers. Every week you find a new way to fuck me. Dog, for weeks and weeks, they've been down and undermanned and still finding a way to win. Christian McCaffrey going crazy. Mac Jones balling out with them. And they fucked me this week again. I had bet on them because they were the underdogs, the point underdogs. I was like, okay, the Niners are clearly going to beat the Texans with no Nico Collins, and they lost. And Christian McCaffrey, where the hell were you the entire game? Nowhere.
D'Amico Ryans owns you guys, dude. He literally owns the 49ers. I mean...
This shit pisses me off. Whether it's winning or losing, the Niners find a new way to fuck me every single week. Next, I'll do disrespect. Today's supposed to be National Tight Ends Day. Jake Ferguson, no catches, no touchdown, fuck a touchdown, no catches, no yards, nothing. Complete zero factor. Nothing from Jake Ferguson today. Also, the Bucks. No top receivers. They just got Ibuka. Can fucking Cade Otton get some love? No touchdown on touchdown day? On National Tight End Day? Just fuck me. Jake Ferguson and Cade Otton lost me. They didn't lose me a lot of money, but they lost me the potential to earn a lot of money. And I'm fucking salty about this. I'm going to be mad for a long time. But I guess that's what fucking happens, that I have fucking money invested in motherfucking the Niners and the motherfucking Cowboys. Cade Otton and the Bucks, y'all fucked me too. But I'm pissed about all of those. My last one goes out to Woody Johnson, talking all that motherfucking shit. Woody Johnson, you gonna really come out here and just excoriate Justin Fields while he is still on your team. Woody Johnson is completely showing everybody every time he gets in front of someone that he can talk, or every time he gets to make a decision, of why there's so much instability in the organization. You have not given a coach or a quarterback really the time to prove anything the entire time you've been there. You're going to move on from Aaron Rodgers, who's still showing that he can play. You're going to talk about how you were happy that you did it and you can't look back on it and think that you missed. Then Justin Fields struggles. Literally, if you look at their schedule, they've had some hard games. They've had some games they should have won that they could have won. And you're going to say that Justin Fields is the only reason that they're losing and completely throw him under the bus, run him over by it. And lo and behold, Tyrod Taylor is hurt now and can't play. And guess who's got to start at quarterback again? The guy that you just said you have no faith in. That is terrible, terrible ownership. And so what did Justin Fields do? Went out there and showed y'all he can still play. Got a first win over a hot Bengals team with Joe Flacco throwing to them great receivers. So I'll do disrespect entirely to Woody Johnson.
Completely agree. I touched on that on Wednesday. Like, I cannot stand that man. But yeah, that being said, they got it done. The only concern I have from the Jets perspective, is Aaron Glenn is a defensive coach you guys hired, and he gave up. You guys had to score 39 to get your first win. Like, Aaron Glenn's got to find a way to get his players locked in on what he's trying to coach, because he'll be gone before too long if he doesn't keep that, like, get the ship right, you know?
I mean, it was Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You know what I mean? It's not like they lost to the Panthers.
One catch, T.
It was still 38 points, and it's not like any other week has been anything different. They've been giving up a lot of points for the last 7 to 8 weeks. Like,
that's fair.
Aaron Glenn needs to find a way to lock this defense in.
That's fair. All right. Anybody got anything else before we get out of here?
Technically, it was really just Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase had 19 targets. T. Higgins had 2. So at least you only bought Jamar Chase. So as long as you guarded him, should have been good.
You were
That's
good.
what I had to say.
Well, I just mean that like he's on the team still. It's not like to use the Jets actually, where you've got just Garrett Wilson, and if you get rid of him, you can double him, and there's nobody else. You know what I mean? Like there's the threat of T. Higgins.
Well, shoot, if you can score 38 points by giving someone 19 targets, I'm gonna do that every game. Then.
Well, yeah, Joe Flacco's never had a Jamar Chase before. He's happy as hell.
Oh yeah,
he's got to figure it out, bro. I can just keep throwing to this guy, and he catches the ball.
I just throw it in the air, and he catches
Receivers say, I'm always open. Jamar Chase, 19 targets, throw him the ball every play.
Absolutely. All right. Catch us on Wednesday, live episode, 10 p.m. on YouTube and Twitch. And if you're not following us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all these places that you can find us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, tap in, leave us a like, a comment. If you're watching us on the podcast apps, leave us a review because that helps a lot too. And we will see you guys on. And we will see you guys on Wednesday. Peace.
Peace.